Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So today we've got 9 horses to talk about from the handicap mark changes. We are going to include a few that have gone up, just a quick mention of them, although I will talk about this one a little bit longer. First one that we're going to talk about then is Does He Know? He went up £5 for winning the Grade 2 at Ascot. I think that's lenient. I really do. I was expecting 8, 10, possibly 10 sort of thing, 8 at a minimum really, only going up 5, having initially in my previous video said, we're not going to get a run now in the Ultima, he's not going to run in it. I think he will. I honestly think he will. I think that's the best option for him. Running the handicap, he's not been given a silly mark, a silly raise for a good run. He's from Kim Bailey's yard, who had the second last year with Happy Go Lucky. They'll be wanting to go one better. I think go for it. I really think the handicap is where he could end up now, which would be fantastic because he's a much shorter price now than we advised him at 16s. Next horse I want to talk about, Good Risk at All. He went up 10 to 137. I think that's about right. I think he beat a well-handicapped horse in Christopher Wood, and they pulled well clear. Where does Good Risk at All go? I don't know. He could go in, I think it's about 3 or 4 different races he could run in. He reminds me similar to the Shunter last year, who had so many options and we got it wrong which one. So I'm not going to be picking Good Risk at All in any race until I actually know, and then he'll go off the short price favourite. Hopefully that might mean if there's something that's maybe just as well handicapped, they may be overlooked because Good Risk at All's recency bias could come into it. People will remember Good Risk at All winning comfortably at Ascot in February and forget something that won just as comfortable or just as impressively maybe in January. So let's hope we can get a better price on something come Cheltenham, depending on what race Good Risk at All runs in. The third horse I want to talk about is Third Wind, who's dropped £3 to 141 after finishing a well-beaten third in the Rendlesham. Now, he won the Rendlesham last year, and that probably, that meant he went up in the handicap and didn't run in the Potemps final, despite having qualified for the Potemps final. I think he goes back to the Potemps final this time, back down to the same 141 mark, which he ran off 2 years ago. He was beaten by Cider Burley, the Storyteller, and Tue Permis. All 3 are probably top-class handicappers to graded horses. Cider Burley has obviously won some graded races, as has the Storyteller. So Hughie Morrison even said the week before that he felt he had bumped into graded horses. I did see this interesting quote from him. Most of the time, trainers are trying to protect their handicap marks, waiting for the big handicap, which is in direct contrast to what Carl Hinchy tweeted a few days ago, which I did question, and I questioned it in my previous video. I wasn't sure that was quite right. Hughie Morrison maybe does believe that horses go for their handicap, are saved with handicaps in mind, but maybe other trainers don't. So anyway, the fact that he was talking about we should really be waiting for the Potemps final with him, but to be honest, this race will be no more competitive than that. Just suggests to me that he'll definitely run in the Potemps now. He didn't win the Rendlesham. I think they might even be really pleased that they ran him in the Rendlesham and he finished third. He dropped £3. They were thinking that they had a horse that was quite well handicapped and looked good for the Potemps final, and now he's going to have £3 less. I think that's quite interesting and very enticing with the Potemps final in mind. We are waiting for the handicap entries to come out. Third Wind will definitely get one, as will Mill Green later, who I talk about for the Potemps final. If you want to back either of those right now, I wouldn't put it past you. I wouldn't put you off. I also think he would be, I think he's about £4 or £5 better off with Cider Burley. Cider Burley's like 9s, 10 to 1. Third Wind, you can get 33 to 1 about. So if you like Cider Burley, you've got to like Third Wind really as well. And I think I highlighted Third Wind for the Potemps final last year. Then he won the Rendlesham and ruined that chance. So I've probably got to go back on Third Wind as well. Now he's in the race that I liked him for. Moving on, we go to Time to Get Up, who dropped £2 to 142. Now, I thought he ran really well at Haydock. And I thought the drift on him was just as eye-catching as his run. He drifted from 8-9 to 1 out to 22 to 1. A JP horse drifting like that just suggests they have absolutely no confidence in him. He's either not ready, not fit. He hadn't run for 105 days. Maybe that was just a warm-up, for something, the Midlands, the Scottish National potentially. And yet he ran a really good race. I think he went even money or just a bit bigger, maybe 6-5 in the run. Whatever he runs in next, as long as it's a distance race, the Midlands National or the Scottish National, I'll be very, very keen on Time to Get Up. The Midlands National is on the 19th of March. Could be where they go. It's always a decent prize. And he won it last year. Moving on to Mill Green. Now, Mill Green actually went up £2 for finishing second at Haydock in the Pertemps qualifier. And that's what I said he would. I thought he would go up between £1 and £2. He's gone up to £2. He's still £2 lower than when he's finished 6th and 7th at Cheltenham Festivals. I think the trip suits him. I think he should have won on Saturday, or would have won if he'd jumped the second last better. And going up £2 might end up being a bit of a blessing in disguise, or getting beat ends up being a blessing in disguise, in that he's then competitive in the Pertemps final, rather than if he'd won and gone up £6-7, that might have been beyond him. £2 to 138, I think is very workable for Mill Green. I think the trip does suit him more, and he does have some Cheltenham Festival form, although it's not right at the front. It's good runs over trips that maybe weren't quite far enough. I don't know why I've got that page next. The next horse I want to talk about isn't about Love Envoy, but Love Envoy won and went up £7 to 135. 2 runs ago, Love Envoy ran at Lingfield and beat Nurse Susan. Nurse Susan was 2.5 lengths behind, and if they ran in a handicap now, would be £11 better off. I really like Nurse Susan for a handicap. Look at the owner. Go and look at Langer Dan's owner. Same people. I think his name's Colm Donlan. Imperial Cup. Really like that one for the Imperial Cup. Nurse Susan. The next horse I want to talk about is Emtion. Emtion dropped £2 down to 138 after pulling up in the Rendlesham. Now, 2 runs ago, he actually ran okay. Just held off Goshen at Lingfield. Granted, Goshen might not want left-handed tracks, but he was there and it was straight down the straight. So I'm not totally sure that's a super strong negative. So 2 runs ago, Emtion actually ran okay. Now, he pulled up on heavy going in the Rendlesham, and he's not a Grade 1 horse, but his handicap mark of 138 suggests that. He's not a Grade 1 horse. If we look back through his form, though, this is the run that's very interesting to me. He was second at Aintree, over 3 mile, in a Grade 1 behind Champ, and in front of Lisnagar Oscar. Is it, he could go back for that race again. He'll have no chance. And he ran in it last year. He did have no chance and he pulled up. So where could they go? This race. The handicap. The handicap hurdle over the same course and distance, down off a mark of 138. I think Emtion can be very competitive in a handicap. I don't believe he's actually running a handicap in his career. Because he's just been entered in graded races and listed events. Off 138, they've got to be looking at a handicap now with him. I really like the Aintree handicap for him. The penultimate horse that we're going to talk about is Remastered. He dropped £1 on collateral form. That means he's down to 143, which is £3 lower than when he fell in the Ladbroke Trophy, the Hennessy, when going well. £3 lower than when second at Haydock, and £3 lower than when 4th at Haydock. The fact he's been dropped on collateral form, I think is very lenient and very kind to him. I wouldn't have dropped him. I think he can certainly win off 146. We know his Cheltenham Festival form is good. That run that he had back here was obviously a very, very good effort. It's getting better and better every time a horse runs from this race. It was Galvin, Escaria 10, who's joint favourite for the Grand National. Next Destination, who hasn't been seen since. Snow Leopardess was 4th. It was a really good race, and I think Remastered can go very, very close in that old team off 1-4-3. And I hope he does, because we're on already at 25-1. The last horse I want to talk about is one of these that's dropped a long way. ASO dropped £5 to 142. Now, he didn't run badly at Exeter, but which way round was Exeter? Right-handed. Before running at Sandown, Venetia Williams said, live on ITV Racing, we don't really think he goes right-handed. So why run him again at right-handed after pulling up? Look where all his form's come. He's finished second at Haydock, left-handed. Fifth at Aintree, that wasn't a bad effort, left-handed. Second at Kelso, left-handed. Second at Warwick, left-handed. Third at Wetherby, left-handed. Second at Cheltenham, left-handed. You get the idea. It's all left-handed. Now he's dropped to a mark of 142. I think it can be very interesting. There's 2 races that he's got to run. Last time out, he was seen in a Veterans Handicap, the wrong way round. Here's a Veterans Handicap, the right way round, at Newbury. What did he do last time he ran at Newbury? He won, off a mark of 150, really, really impressively. Granted, he was a better horse then. When he goes and wins this race, the Veterans Handicap Steeplechase, he can then go back to Newbury a month later and win this one. 2 wins for ASO, left-handed in Veterans Handicap chases. I think he'd go really close in both. So there's some thoughts for this week. That's the lot. I'm hoping Does He Know does turn up in the handicap now. I don't know what they'll do with Good Risk at all. I don't know what race. Third Wind and Mill Green, I expect to see them in the Temps final. Time to Get Up, I want to see them in the Midlands National. Love Envoy, just the form franked again of Nurse Susan. Let's hope Nurse Susan turns up in that Imperial Cup. Emtion should be saved for the Aintree Handicap. Remastered drops another £1, so he's down £3 lower than his last time out effort. Got to go back for the Ultima himself. And ASO, I've missed one. Nope. ASO hopefully goes to Newbury next in a Veterans Handicap chase. Thanks for listening. I have been reading all your comments. It's great to be getting comments on the videos now on YouTube. Please do, if you have any questions, if you want me to discuss any horses, if you see any horses during the week that you think, I'd like Liam to tell me what he thinks about that horse, feel free to get in touch. Let me know who that horse is and I'll see what I can come up with and maybe find what I think is a suitable race for them. Thanks for listening. Let's hope the handicap marks, the handicap entries for Cheltenham get sorted soon. There's been a technical issue with the Weatherby's site, which means they've not been able to declare their horses for the handicaps or enter the horses for the handicaps, which is a bit frustrating, I'm sure, for everyone, and just means we have to wait a little bit longer.